I guess just to end this event, like I said, I'll be staying back for 15 minutes, but did anyone from the events team want to give like any last words before people leave?
Wait, there's one question. Should I leave it after or?
Oh no, I'll just look at it.
Okay, cool.
What is my opinion on surveys and interviews? So my opinion on surveys and interviews is that they're both really useful. It's good to know like what each one is used for. So obviously when you're doing surveys, it's going to be like less in-depth. It's going to be more like really simple like ratings. And also a lot of the stuff that you might get in surveys is like very subjective, right? So when you ask stuff like, oh, how would you rate your experience with Moodle? And you give them like a scale of 1 to 5. And that's very subjective, right? So one person's 5 might be like another person's 3. And so it's like good. It's good for like really simple insights and something just to get you started. But if you really want to like have like a more in-depth understanding of your users, like what their motivations are, what their goals, pain points, what they really need, then it's better to have like user interviews. And what I do for user interviews, like the length really depends, but I like to have 45-minute sessions just because I don't pay my user interviews, like people to have user interviews with me. And so I feel like I don't want to take up too much of their time. But when you do work for industry, usually because you do pay your users to have interviews with you, it might be a bit longer than that, or it really depends. So yeah, definitely user interviews, very insightful. I would try and do like them as much as I can. Surveys, I kind of use them to like validate like the results of the interviews or to like get a starting point. Are your case studies posted on your own personal portfolio? Yeah, I would recommend that. So I don't actually have like a website yet. Like my portfolio is kind of on Notion at the moment. So what I would do is, yeah, I would put all your case studies into like one single website, which displays all of your work at once. So, and then like you can just, like what I said with this person's portfolio here, what she did is like she gave like the final solution and then like a short description of it. Just so the recruiters or the interviewers can decide which ones they want to read through, and then they can just click on that and then see the entire thing. So, yeah. Cool. Well, thank you guys for coming. I'll be here for a few more minutes just answering questions. You guys can unmute now. Yeah.
Hi.
Thanks
for that. That was really good.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thank
Thanks guys for coming.
Wait, does anyone have any questions? Because I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah. What brought you from coding, like software engineering, to go to design? Like, did you always want to do design, or did it just come up randomly and you thought you really liked like the user interview process and everything?
Oh, so what I actually wanted to be was like a graphic designer. So like initially when I came to uni, oh my God, I said it hard without going to my life story, but basically when I came to uni, I already knew that I really liked graphic design and I wanted to do something with it, but I knew that it wasn't a job option because I was worried about job security and I was worried that, oh, I'm never going to find a job as a graphic designer. And so I went into like a more technical field. So I studied engineering when I started. And then afterwards, I just realized, yeah, no, I really hate this and it's not working out for me. And I think I need to consider what other things my passion for design could lead to. And that's when I realized that, okay, I really like the problem solving aspect of like engineering, but I don't like the coding aspect as much. And I realized that there was a way for me to combine like design and solving problems, and that was like UX to me. So yeah, that's my story. So if you guys, I'm sure you all have different reasons. Like some people might specialize, like some people really like user research. I prefer like the prototyping bit a bit more. Some people might really not like that because they're not very visual, and instead they prefer to like specialize as a researcher or like a UX writer. And that's good too. Like usually when you apply for like bigger companies that have very proper, like very good UX processes, they have like very specialized roles. So if you want to specialize, that's also an option.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions, guys? Cool. Okay. Thanks for the questions, guys.
Okay.
Oh,
Sorry, who's talking?
Danish.
Hi, Danish. Yes.
Hello.
I have a question about your design background, actually.
Ooh.
For someone who wants to like improve their visual design skills for UX, but I guess just the foundational skills for graphic design, where would
Yeah.
you kind of direct them? Because you mentioned like learning like the design theory, like color theory, typography, but what about like tools and stuff?
Oh yeah. I think all I did was like look stuff up. So I would just look up on YouTube, oh, what are some cool design theories that you don't know? And so obviously a lot of the stuff on YouTube is going to be super high level. Like they'll just be like, yeah, use your fonts and make sure it has white space or stuff like that. But that's really not like, I think it's good to know that high level stuff. But then once you do know what terminologies to look for, it's good to like actually go to Google and look up that specific term and then read more about like more in-depth stuff on it. So like as a starting point, it's good to research the quick stuff. And then once you know the terms and terminologies to use, that's when you look that up and then try and understand it better. But also I've been like collating as much resources I can find. So I'll be sending that through probably I'll be posting that as well in the notes section. But generally, if you do have Udemy or LinkedIn, there's lots of cool resources there. Let me see. But yeah, I think I would just start by looking at design theory. And there's some really cool PDFs somewhere. Also, if you go on Reddit, like if you just look up design theory PDFs or like books, like I'm sure someone on Reddit will have mentioned something that's really good, and they're all really cool. So, so yeah, I would start with that one.
Thanks.
In terms of, yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry, did you want to say something else?
No, I said thanks. Thanks, Danish.
Aw, you're welcome.
Anyone have a question? I have a quick one just to clarify.
Yes.
Okay, wait. So this event, like this workshop you just did, the target audience is people who already know about UX, right? Like they have a vague introduction to it. But I think like when I first thought about like the name product designer, I thought you literally just like design stuff. So how much of product, like the product designer role is actually designing, and how much of it is just understanding your users and coming up with strategies to implement that in your designs? Like it's not really just about like making pretty things on Illustrator, right?
Yeah, I feel like, okay, so what I'm not sure in industry because I've never worked, but based on like whatever I do, what I'm just doing, like all these case studies and stuff, I spend way more time doing research than I do like actually prototyping, because like the research phase, there's so many steps to it. Like I'll just show you guys the Mac documentation. I don't even care because it's just the titles. But
wait,
like,
is that recording?
Oh yeah, we'll stop recording later. But basically,
okay, sure.
I'm not gonna go through the actual document. I'll just
All right, guys, welcome to Mac.
Yeah, welcome to Mac. But
Exclusive.
basically, look, there's so many processes. Like you go through the you probably want to do like a high level analysis first. You want to do competitor analysis. You want to try and have like understand your goals, what you really want to achieve, and like that just takes up so much time. And like all your user interviews, the personas, your journey maps, and each of these have like nested sections as well. So all these journey maps isn't even done. There's like so many scenarios and stuff to consider. And then you're also testing, like your actual sessions where you give your prototypes to people and they test.
Or?
No, I closed it because it's confidential. But yes, because you told me not to. But
no, you can, it's fine. Like there's really nothing there, to be honest. Because no one's gonna just design a website from scratch.
Yeah, it's just a website. But like basically there's so many things that you do. Like it just takes so much time. Like even testing, like you have to sit there individually with all the people who are like trying to use your app, and you're trying to record what they're doing, and you're trying to listen to what they're saying. And it just like takes up so much time, like research. Designing is like the easy part to me. Like research is very hard. And it's also tedious.
You can probably try to Figma board if you want.
Oh, yes. I'm trying to find the card sorting thing, but I can't find it.
Oh, okay.
It's gone. Where's card sorting? I can't.
Can you search?
Okay, whatever. It's gone. It's gone.
Wait,
sorry, I'm grabbing Figma. Yeah, I'm grabbing it.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, that's mad.
Hi, sorry, can I ask a question?
Yes.
I just wanted to know, because I don't come from, I'm not doing IT or computer science right now, but I'm just sort of considering, I guess, like UX as a possible career pathway, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm not like completely sold, but I definitely did think this was really interesting. So yeah, everything you said was great. I guess because you sort of came from a different design background and then sort of, you know, jumped into all this. Was there like specific resources, like, I don't know, blogs you read, or I don't know, specific channels that you looked into to sort of get into all this stuff? I guess I'm just sort of looking for more things to convince me further that this is something I want to do instead of the other stuff I was previously looking at.
I 100% get what you're saying. There's this resource that I recommend on like Coursera. It's free. Just need to click on it first. Yes, it's this one. So there's this Coursera course which is about human-centered design. It's free. It's by like an American university. Not sure which one, but it's a really good introduction onto like UX design. In terms of blogs and stuff, I just go on Medium. So if you go into Medium here, and like there's so many articles there about user experience design, and like even though it doesn't make sense at the beginning because it feels like it's all split, eventually once you start to understand, everything makes sense and how they connect together. There's also the Nielsen. Another website that I recommend is the Nielsen Norman Group website. So this one is kind of like, this group of organization is kind of like the group we consider to be the founder of UX. So they're kind of the ones who really advocated for the user and all of these processes that we have now. So they have a lot of articles and research papers, and you have conferences and certifications, which is really cool. I really recommend this one, like if you want to get started. And then on YouTube, I follow a couple of people. There's this person who's called Femke, and she is a New Zealander who works at Uber now, and she has a lot of really cool stuff. As you can see, I have watched so many videos. There's also lots of other people. If you just look up product design or UX design, and there's no specific person that I watch because they're all really good. But yeah, there's lots of good resources there. But I guess Nielsen Norman Group would be the first point of contact because they're like really official. They have research papers. And then second of all, this course here is what I would recommend as well.
Thank you.
Oh, good.
Jazz, I have the Miro board. Do you want to show it? The card sorting board? I sent it to you in the chat.
Oh, actually, I can just go to the card sorting ticket, but then you'll see all of our messy notes.
No, I sent you the link for the Miro board. You can just click it.
Oh, thank you. Why is there 60 messages in the chat?
Can you just click my link?
Okay, I got it. It's okay.
Yep, bad. Thank you.
Got it.
The 60 messages in the chat because we talk. Yeah, do you want to explain what's happening here? Like what you did with it?
Okay guys, so for context, card sorting is like this thing where you have a group of cards with like topics on them. So for example, you have a bunch of sticky notes and one of them could say dog, the other one can say cat, and then another one could say carrot, and there might be another one that says ice cream. And like what you do is you give a bunch of these cards to your users and like your testers, and then it's up to them. You give them like a limited amount of time, like you time them, and then they group the cards based on what makes sense to them. So like if they want to group dog and ice cream together, like, you know, they're happy to do that. But the point of this is to like understand like your users' mental models, like how do they actually group certain things, right? So when there's like more complex topics like this one, in my scenario, we were trying to figure out how do we actually group the different information we have on our club into like the different pages and the different sections of the website. Because you know how you have your home page, your about page, your events page, and we were just trying to figure out how to actually group them and how to like group them within those groups. And so that's why we had these sessions. And it's like in the end, like, yeah, you can be like, okay, I think this goes here, but in the end, you're not the person using the website. In the end, it's your users. And so it's good to go to them and like make them do all the work and they can sort it for you. And as you can see, there's like all these cards here, and because we're COVID, we can only do it online. This is like how some of the people sorted it. As you can see, they have a lot of different groups. some people are some people had very simple groups, and some people just like grouped it.
Sorry. I basically like built the entire website.
Yeah, and this was so painful to analyze. It was like, it was like, how am I supposed to group this? Okay, usually when you do card sorting, you pay attention to like, oh, what names do they give to the group? Like, how often do you see two things grouped with each other? So, for example, I noticed that pretty much in every single case, all of the social media links were always grouped together. They were never separated. And so this is the case that, yeah, it has to be all in the same place. You can't separate it. But then there's also cases where there's things that sometimes they're grouped with each other and sometimes they're split apart. Like when you look at events and like event feedback forms, some people group them together. And then there's some people who kind of like split them into two different sections. And so like there's really interesting cases there. It shows you how people think. And it's up to you to decide which one's going to be more beneficial. So obviously majority wins. Or sometimes you want to put it in both, or sometimes you want to put it into one. And yeah, I think this is the kind of insight you can get from doing card sorting activities. And yeah, there's a lot of work, but it's fun. Very fun grouping all of these. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's time, like it's 6:20. Do you want to call it a day after like anyone who has any questions
Yep.
speak?
Does anyone else have any other questions?
Oh yeah, I just have one more question after saying that, if you don't
Oh
mind.
yeah. Yeah, sure.
How
All
do you
good.
so all those notes with like an element of something,
Yeah.
where did
This
you
one.
get that all from? Like I guess how did you generate all of these?
Oh yeah. So this is where like you can talk about how you collaborate with the stakeholders. So because this was a project for a club, like usually you wouldn't know what the club's assets are. So that's when you go to the actual club. So we had like an entire meeting about, okay, what stuff do we actually have? And like what stuff do we want to put on the webpage? And so we just compiled that into a giant list, split them into like what's in here now, and then just ask people to sort it. So yeah, that's it, I guess. Does that help?
Yeah, that's really helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wait,
Oh,
Jazz,
good.
one last question. Callista asked in the chat, do you find yourself using Figma or Illustrator more to design?
Oh, I love Figma. Okay, so Illustrator is good for when you're trying to make really pretty illustrations and fancy drawings. Like, I'll go to my Pinterest board because it's really cute. But if you're trying to do really complex assets, like, you know how when like websites have like a hero image, just like a really pretty illustration, like something like this, like you're not going to be able to do something like this on Figma. So for drawing visual stuff, for drawing stuff like this that's very complex, I would go to Illustrator because there's more features. But for prototyping websites, and if I want to just like make a website, I would go to Figma because it has all the functionality. Like I'll show you guys one of the prototypes I made. Oh, this one, yes. This one. Okay, so I made like the Smallbell app wireframe, and as you can see, this is like the first frame, right? And then if I go into the prototype section, you can see where all the arrows lead. And if I undo that, you can see all the different interactions and how they lead to each other. And you can't do this on Illustrator. Like, yeah, you can draw the frames like this on Illustrator, but you can't see how like they lead to each other. Like this button goes to that. And then some of these like are overlays where they pop up and then they go back down after a certain amount of time. So yeah, these ones probably Figma. Yeah. Hopefully that helps.
Thank you. Hope that
Oh,
helped.
good.
Yeah, so it's 6:23. If you haven't joined our Discord yet and you do have questions, join here. So cut.ly mac-discord. Otherwise, I think it's time, right? Christian and Catherine, are you guys okay? Yeah, cool. Yeah, Jasmine, do you have any last words?
Thanks you guys for coming. Follow us on social media and we'll be posting all the resources really soon.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah.
Fill out the feedback if you haven't.
Oh yes. Oh my god.
Yes, please. Feedback.
Wait, where is it again? It just got like buried again.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Right.
Sorry, that's right here. Please help us improve our events by giving us feedback.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate it.
Hopefully you got it. Yeah.
Okay, man. Thank you. Okay, thanks, guys.
Yay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, Jasmine, I think you can end the meeting now, but thanks so much for coming, guys. Really appreciate it. And have a
All
lovely
good. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.